the Everyday is a New Day podcast and live show. The inspirational show about moving forward and choosing to be more of you. Transmuting the self-doubt and stepping into courageously aligned confidence in who you uniquely are. My name is Kim O'Neill. I'm a twice certified transformational confidence coach, Reiki master, best-selling author, and former crime analyst who now helps empathic, heart-centered individuals shatter the noise of self-doubt, find clarity on what self-love really looks like, and the courage to be peacefully grounded in who you've always known you are, from the inside out. Join me for the live shows on Facebook and YouTube, and visit KimO'NeillCoaching.com for more info. Let's get to it. All right, and welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Everyday is a New Day show. My name is Kim O'Neill, and we are in for another treat with another inspirational guest I'm excited to share with you today. Before we get into the conversation and I bring him up, please go ahead and let us know in the chat. If you are with us, say hello. Let us know where you are joining us from. And as we go through today's conversation, if you have questions or ahas, please do go ahead and share with us. When you share, it's just so awesome to see how there's always a ripple effect of one other person going, oh my goodness, I'm getting that too. And it just deepens those inspirational insights that we get and we sometimes overlook and doubt. And I just, for some reason, wanted to acknowledge that today, because those inspirational hits that you get are for you. And there's so much growth that can take place in those. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up today's guest. Welcome to the show, Cody Byrns. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Kim?
I'm doing great. It's so good to have you here today. I am excited to be sharing your story with everyone today, and it's going to be so good. So real quick, let's see here. Let me take a quick look at the comments. I see we have someone with us in the Everyday is a New Day Facebook group. So good to have you here. Awesome. And so Cody, I'm going to go ahead and share with everyone a little bit of your background, and then of course we'll get into the flow of our conversation. And so for those meeting Cody Byrns for the very first time, he is an award-winning speaker and a #1 best-selling author. His life underwent a major shift in 2013 after a horrific traffic accident left his body burned and scarred. After years of countless surgeries and innumerable physical and emotional hurdles, Cody has since founded his own nonprofit, Burn Foundation, and is on a mission to spread his story of inspiration, hope, and recovery to everyone he meets. He's been featured on many TV and radio shows around the world. And of course, today he's here on the Everyday is a New Day show. And there we go. I'll leave it there.
That's awesome.
So, Cody, why don't you start with just sharing with everyone a little bit more about who you are, why you're here, sharing your story around the world with people, your foundation, all of that. Just tell everyone a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so honored and happy to be here on your show today, and I appreciate all that you are doing and providing to the world. My story began back in Indiana, where I'm originally from. I now live in Tampa, Florida. But growing up in the country of Indiana, right in the middle of a cornfield, had a wild imagination. At a young age, my family took me to a circus, and I'm going somewhere with this. They took me to the circus, and I fell in love with a special talent at the circus, and that was juggling. And as a little boy, I was fascinated with this. And then I taught myself how to juggle. And a few years later, I would go to a kids camp. And like most camps, there's activities during the day. There's a lake to swim in. But at night, there was a special camp speaker. And this speaker also had a special skill to go along with his talk. And it was juggling. And I began to see that this man wasn't up on the stage to receive self-glorification, but really give a message of hope to us kids. And something on the inside of me in that moment said, this is what I'm calling you to do. This is what your purpose here on earth is. And so since as a little boy, all through middle school, high school, I pursued doing that calling. I knew I wanted to give hope to people. Give hope. That's what it's always been about. But I did that through doing juggling and comedy and bringing those skills into the play. But I had so much fun. But all through my young years, I did that. I spoke at many different organizations, churches. I got to do some circus events, traveling across the nation, speaking at conferences, camps, conventions, you name it. And right up until the age of 23, it was actually in April of 2013, I was doing some work in Cuba, training leaders and speaking at conferences over there and doing the juggling and the comedy. But then in May of 2013, my life as I knew it would suddenly come to a complete stop where my vision, everything that I was pursuing suddenly ended. And it was at this red light that I encountered on the highway. And it was on a Friday afternoon, May 31st, 2013, stopped at a red light on the highway. I was rear-ended by a refrigerator box truck. It was going full highway speed. When the box truck hit my vehicle, my car blows up into flames. When the first responders came to the scene, they said it was a fatality. They had done call the coroner. But somehow or another, they saw my hand move. One of the first responders did. And that little bit of movement changed everything for me. And today, for all the listeners and people that are tuning in, I just wonder what a little bit of movement can do for you in your situation. Because for me, it certainly made a big difference. And so getting out of the car, it took them a good hour to get me out of that thing. They life flighted me to the hospital, the burn unit, actually, in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I was put into a coma on full life support. I was on that for 3 weeks, and I don't remember none of the wreck. I just remember driving, and then I wake up 3 weeks later to only be told what had happened to me. And I remember my mom specifically. My mom was there, and she told me, she said, "Cody, you've been severely burned." I had 40% of my body, covered in third and fourth degree burns, severely burned. And fourth degree, I never knew there was such a thing, but it burns down to your bone and muscle. And in some cases, it requires amputation. And so my mom was there and she said, "Cody, your burn injuries, they're severe. But no matter what, Cody, do not lose sight of your vision." She knew and understood that I had every right to give up and play the victim card. And there's many people in today's world, if they find themselves stopped at a red light, maybe their injuries are caused because of somebody else's poor decisions, or who knows what it could be. Maybe they are tempted to fall into that victim mindset. My mom knew that I had every right to become a victim, but she believed that there was something greater on the other side for her son. That's why she reminded me, don't lose sight of your vision. And just as she reminded me, I'm here to remind all of humanity that no matter what happens in life, no matter what tries to knock you down and destroy you, get back up. Don't lose sight of what matters the most, because there is a life worth living. I'm going to pause there because I can continue going on, but I want to give you some talk room here.
Oh my gosh, Cody. I love that. So you started life as this beacon of hope, this messenger for hope. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing. This ray of light. And you ended up experiencing something that absolutely, as you said, you had every right to be able to claim the victim card if you wanted and to go in that direction, carry that forward. But you chose to continue with your vision. I love that your mom was such a beautiful supporter and advocate for that, to empower you and to continue doing what you had originally felt called to do and who you felt you were. That's what I'm hearing. And it's so beautiful. So, oh my gosh. Cody, what was that period like? Because I know a lot of people struggle with that in their own life, right? It's not everyone has to have a tragic car accident or something like that, but we all go through things that really have the capacity to turn our life upside down and to really make us question everything, make us want to give up. And we have choices in those moments. And so as your mom was in that space of reminding you and empowering you, remember your vision, stay focused on that. What was that experience like for you? Was that hard to say yes to? Did you struggle with just all the feelings and emotions you had about the accident and what had happened?
Yes, absolutely. And being, only human, it's only natural for anyone to have those thoughts. And like I shared, as a young man, living my life on purpose, giving hope to people. My audience, more so before all this, was more so children. I had spoken at camps, and up until the age of 23, when all this went down, I was 23. Up until that point, I had spoken to thousands of children across the world,
Wow.
and giving that message of hope. That's always what it's been. It's always been about that. Still remains about that. But here I am. I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to do everything right with my life, and bam, here I am. I'm hit. I'm knocked down. I'm at this stoplight. My world is shaken. And I think a lot of people have found themselves at stoplights. They could be many different things. It could be COVID. It could be divorce. It could be the loss of a loved one. Who
Yes.
knows what it could be? We've all encountered those stoplights. And in those moments, it's very easy to get depressed, very easy to be down and out. But I will say that one of the benefits that I had when going through this was a strong support system, a support system that loved me so much to not allow me to stay in that state of depression and to really just help me refocus on what was truly most important. And during all this time, I had a lot of mentors and people that were impacting me in a positive way. But my family started up a Facebook page, and this Facebook page had gotten a few thousand followers at the time, and people was following this story. This story made news, and it was spreading like wildfire, and people were being encouraged just by the very fact that I was still getting up out of bed in the morning. I really wasn't doing much other than that, just trying to survive, because I was in the burn unit for a total of 2.5 months. Like I shared, I had severe burn injuries. I had broken vertebrae. I had torn ligaments. I had pneumonia. I had a blood infection. I had all kinds of hurdles. My oxygen levels dropped very low in the hospital, that my family remembers the surgeons coming to them and saying that, listen, there's a 50-50 chance of Cody living. If we either do this surgery, he lives. If he doesn't, then he doesn't.
Wow.
So it was very traumatic for my family, but it was a total, like I said, 2.5 months in the burn unit. Then I had to go to a rehab center. I had to relearn to walk, had to relearn to use my hands again, all the basics. So it was like starting from square one. But through that, I had people watching me. And on the Facebook page my family had made, there's all these people, young and old, people that I once spoke to before this incident happened.
Okay.
They were watching my response to this tragedy. Now it's just a matter of, am I actually going to practice what I preach? Because when life is going great, we can talk something all day long. But when tragedy strikes and rubber hits the road, your faith, your message, everything that you're about is put to the test. And this message of wanting to give hope to people, now I've got this tragedy that has happened. What is the message I'm wanting to give? All these little lies, all these people, they're now watching me. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to make something of this. I'm going to turn this around and let it serve to my advantage, and ultimately serve to that vision that I've always had, and that is giving hope to people.
Oh, I just feel like there's just so much to take in with that. That's beautiful, Cody. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, you were really, is there a part of you that sees it as an opportunity?
Yes, absolutely. There's a powerful quote that I love. It was given to me by one of my mentors, and it's by Kaitlyn Walsh. And I got a big picture of it up on my wall here in my office. And it says, the key to success is playing the hand you were dealt like it was the hand that you wanted. And that quote just speaks volumes into this situation, because, all right, I was dealt a very difficult hand, but in order for me to turn this around, I've got to let it serve to my advantage, And it really did just that. My world was shaken. My faith was shaken, might I add. And one of my mentors, I respect people no matter what background they have, but one of my mentors, Dr. Dave Reaver, he served in Vietnam. He is also a burn survivor. His face is scarred. He's got fingers amputated. And he shared with me the story of how someone told him that God didn't do this to you. God isn't about doing evil to people. God didn't do this to you, but he allowed it to happen because he could trust you with the scars. He could trust you with the scars, trust you with the story. And I really feel like I've been entrusted with this story, with the scars that I carry, to really just furthermore give hope to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that quote. I had asked Cody, what's a quote that you find empowering, and thank you, Cody, for bringing that and weaving that right into the show. That was beautiful, beautiful Kaitlyn Walsh quote. Cody, our theme this year on the Every Day is a New Day show, I'm going to jump right into this because you're already embodying this and being this. The theme this year is let your light shine. And that means many things to many people, and all answers are correct. And so I love asking my guests, what does let your light shine mean to you? And prior to the show, I had asked Cody that same question, and Cody's answer was everything. Simply living your life in a way that sheds light in areas needed. Cody, would you like to elaborate on that? Is there anything else you'd like to say about that quote?
Yeah, I think our world is it can be a beautiful place, but because of the calamities and things that we encounter on the day-to-day basis, it becomes a very dark world. And there's a lot of people that find themselves in dark situations, dark times, maybe encountering depression. I think COVID was very dark for a lot of people,
Right.
not just their personal lives, but also their business life. And if you can provide a bit of inspiration or hope, then please, by all means, do so. And whenever you're doing that, you are giving light to somebody. You are lifting that darkness, so to speak. And I really live my life by that motto. We are here for such a short time. Life is so short, it seems like. And as a young man, I'm now 31 years old. As a young man, I tell you, there's still a lot yet to learn. I don't have all the answers, but I will say that because of me going through this difficult experience, it has allowed me to grow and to mature in ways that I wouldn't have if I hadn't gone through this difficulty. And I start appreciating life so much more. And I look at life beyond myself. Before the incident, I did that, and even more so now, where I just recognize that I'm here on this earth, not because of me. I'm not here to serve self. I'm here to serve the world around me and give hope to people, because that's truly where life takes on a whole new meaning. That's where joy comes in. That's where you can be happy, is when you look to help others.
You said something a moment ago about how life can be dark, and I completely understand and get that and agree. And what came to mind right in that moment was just how powerful, because you're really, I feel like you're a big messenger for that. For this is life can be dark, and we get to choose to bring in the light through what we embody, the choices that we make, and that kind of thing. And yeah, I just wanted to bring it back to choice. Choice is something that always tends to show up on these episodes, and that was the moment here for this one. So, beautiful, beautiful. Cody, what have you noticed as you have gone out there and continue to spread hope and inspiration to youth and to all the parents and all the other adults that hear your messages to? What's a common theme that you've noticed in the responses that people have towards being able to hear your messages of hope and hear about your story and everything?
Yeah, it's always amazing to me to hear people's different takes on the message and things that they hear. The big thing that I connect the dots on is the scars, and I think it really hits home with a lot of folks. Because I have the physical scars, but because of this incident that I encountered, I also got the emotional scars. And there's a lot of people in today's world that battle with those emotional scars. And it's because at young ages, we were burned to different degrees. Here I am. I parallel that with my physical injuries because I had 3rd and 4th degree burns, but there's many people that have been burned to different degrees in life. Maybe all the way back in childhood. Maybe they had abusive parents, or they was raised in an abusive home. Maybe there is a divorce that took place. A spouse cheated on you, or who knows what it could be. Maybe getting laid off at your work. There's many different moments where we feel like we're burned in life. And those burning moments create scars. And those scars often keep people limited throughout their everyday life. And if it happens in childhood, they find themselves as adults still dealing with some of the scars that they encountered and got as a child. and it can limit them. It can limit them, and they find themselves unable to truly live that life that they've always wanted to live. And so the message that I am here to share, I always tell people, I want to help people live free from the bonds of scars. No matter what life has brought you, there is a way of breaking free of that. Maybe it is just simply forgiving somebody. Maybe it is just forgiving yourself. For some people, that's what it is. I spoke at a correctional facility last year, and that's a big one for them, forgiving themselves.
I bet.
And so I talk about how scars, they are permanent, whether they are physical or emotional. But my book is Scar Release, Breaking Free of Yesterday's Troubles. Scar Release is named after a surgical procedure that they do on burn survivors. And what happens as a burn survivor, I have contracture scars. And when a contracture scar occurs over the top of a joint, it can limit the mobility of that joint. And in order to free up the scar, the surgeons have to go in. They cut the scar at its root, and it allows you to be mobile again. So I always give the example with my hands. My web spaces had contracted to the point where I couldn't even hold on to a bottle of water. And the surgeons had to go in, do a scar release procedure. When they do that, it frees up my hand and I can now move and function. But a scar release procedure does not remove the appearance of a scar. It allows the mobility to move with the scar. And so that's really what I love to promote, is that, yeah, you may be scarred. You may have damage, so to speak, but don't allow that to keep you limited. Move forward with the scar, move forward with the story. And to your amazement, if you look at it different, you find the lessons. What did that experience teach you? And how can you take those lessons and share them with somebody else? That's powerful. That's powerful. And that's really what I love teaching on. And I have those epic steps that we was talking about before we went live. That is something that I love sharing with people as well. EPIC is an acronym, and the E stands for embrace challenges. Challenges will always present themselves at one level or another. Then we have the P, which is provide perspective. What is the lessons I can learn from this? Then we have the I, which is implement change, applying those lessons to our life. And then we have the C, which is celebrate. Celebrate your story. Celebrate the fact that you're here, that you're alive, and that there is a life worth living. And out of that celebration, serve others. Serve others. And those steps are available for your guests. EpicLifeGamePlan.com. They can download that. And my free gift to you.
Okay, I didn't get that website. Epic Life. What was it?
EpicLifeGamePlan.com.
Gameplan.com. Okay, let me put that up on the screen for everybody. EpicLifeGamePlan.com, and you can find more about those steps. I love that, Cody. Thank you for that. And I do want to go ahead and acknowledge that if you'd like to get a copy of Cody's book or a free, okay, so this is where everything on the screen gets a little crazy. 1 second. There's the book again. Okay, Scar Release, Breaking Free of Yesterday's Troubles by Cody Byrns. And for everyone who's listening to the replay only, Cody's last name is Byrns. And they can get that book at scarreleasebook.com, correct?
Yes, they can go on there. They can download the first chapter for free, and the book is available for purchase on Amazon, Kindle and paperback.
Awesome. Scarreleasebook.com. Wonderful. Okay, Cody, let me take this picture down here. There we go. You can see us a little better. And we do have a comment from a viewer saying, "You are an inspiration, Cody. Thank you for sharing your story."
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Cody, very inspiring. What is, I'm just going to ask you, what is a question you wish more people would ask you?
That is a good question.
Maybe that question?
Would it be funny? It'd be that question, as a matter of fact. No. I think people just, one question that I wish people would ask me more is, I'm a big person of my faith. And so ultimately I speak for multiple different groups, universities, colleges, corporate events, you name it. And all of these arenas, they different backgrounds. I'm respectful of everyone. But most of the time, I love it when someone asks me, "Cody, are you a Christian?" Because that gives me an opportunity to really shed light on what has helped me truly the most. I have steps and things that I share. Those steps are very useful, but first and foremost, I give credit to my Creator, and I couldn't be here without Him.
Bringing it back to that space of faith and I'm curious, have you encountered people in your talks? Have you encountered people who didn't used to have faith, but through being able to hear more of your story, they're able to generate some faith and start to be able to allow that to enter into their life?
I have, and matter of fact, a lot of the first responders that were there that day that worked on me, a lot of the men and women that were there, not all of them are people of faith or believers, and I love them all dearly. I have many friends, many different backgrounds, faiths. I even have people that are considered atheists that I would say they're my friends, and I respect them all. But it's always interesting when you see an accident of this extent and you see the recovery and you see how much of a miracle it is. It really sheds light on there being something more, something beyond what we see on the daily. And the biggest thing of all is that people, I think, they sense that spirit of love, and I think God is love, and I think you know I think when people hear the story, they meet me, they know I'm not a pushy person. I'm a person that loves them no matter where they're at. I believe that's something that all Christians need to live by, is we just love on people and allow the love of God to touch people, because in the end, I can't save nobody. I can't save nobody. I can't change anybody. The only thing I can do is love them, and I can love them and be light, like we were sharing about, be that beacon of light in today's world. And so there's been a lot of people that have been touched and encouraged and motivated. And just the very fact that me living and doing what I'm doing is a lot for them, because people they see a lot of things in their life and they're hurt. And there's a lot of walls that people build over time because they have been hurt by different situations, different people, different things. And so it's always encouraging to just love people. And when I do that, it's amazing that the walls, they just start crumbling down, and it allows me to really, in a way, touch the soul.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, because I believe that, yes, that love is universal and it transcends religion or belief systems. Love is love. That's how I hear it and believe it. And for people who have had those experiences where the walls are still up, or maybe they attach, maybe certain, what am I trying to say here? Certain things that prevent them from having any sort of faith in any way, that really is actually doing maybe more of a disservice to them, keeping them away from things that are more love resonant. By you simply being that messenger and beacon of love, you're helping people to open up what is true for them and what is available to them. And so I love that you brought that home. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. And I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that with our theme being Let Your Light Shine this year, a few months ago, I did launch the Let Your Light Shine movement, which is free and easy to join, and is simply here as another way to inspire and empower you to know that you shine. You are also that embodiment of love and this amazing being here on earth with your unique talents and gifts, however they show up in your life. And when you shine, our world shines that much brighter. So if that intrigues you and you have not yet joined the Let Your Light Shine movement, again, it's free and easy to join. And I've heard you get an extra boost of confidence and empowerment just by joining for yourself. But if you also go the extra step and say, yeah, Kim, you know what, go ahead and share me out on social media, because you have the option to do that, you also become a brighter light for others who are hearing about the movement and on that journey of feeling more empowered in who they are as they shine their light. So that link is up on the screen. That was a long-winded way of sharing the movement with you, but you can join the movement by going to bit.ly/Let Your Light Shine movement. Would love to see you there. And Cody, we are nearing the end of our conversation. I do want to remind everybody that they can go to, of course, they can go to epiclifegameplan.com and learn more about Cody's inspiration, or get the free first chapter of Cody's book, Scar Release, scarreleasebook.com, by going there. And Cody, we are now at the part of the show where I love to pull additional inspirational messages through through one of my many card decks.
Yes.
And I love that Cody's joining me in the excitement of this. Okay. And so before the show, I asked Cody, I said, Cody, here are a few decks. Which deck would you, would you like me to pull from? And he chose Kimmy's Rolodex deck.
Yes. I love it.
So, okay. So I'm going to just do some light shuffling. And then in a moment here, I'll have you say stop, and I'll pull whatever card is on top. And sometimes there are cards that also just kind of pop out as I'm shuffling. So let me just... Okay, Cody, when you are ready, go ahead and say stop.
Stop.
Okay, so we this one here is, this is so good. But what if it doesn't have to be that way? What then? But what if it doesn't have to be that way? What then? Cody, before I say anything, what's coming up for you as you hear these questions?
Well, I think of going back to even my story, thinking about the scars, like that initial thought of like, well, that's it for me. My life, there's no more hope. This is it. I'm never, and even, from being a single man at the time, I'm now in a relationship. I'm looking forward to getting married here soon.
Oh,
hopefully.
congratulations.
Thank you. But back at that time, that thought of like, well, no one's going to love me with these scars. No one's going to, respect me, and all these different thoughts. But what if it doesn't have to be that way? Then what? That initial shift of just thinking, well, I cannot change the past. I can't change what happened to me yesterday. The only thing I can change is what I do today. And that has served to my advantage in so many powerful ways. And I'm here to say that it's true. Then what? Shift your perspective. It is amazing. It's not the end. It's the beginning of something beautiful.
Thank you for being just an amazing advocate and messenger for your message of hope and light and love to everyone, and bringing it right back to, I love that this card came out. I completely agree, is that you had a very obvious fork in the road in your story. I could go this way, this accident happened. I could go this way, or I could choose to go this way. And some people might assume that it has to be one way, but what if it doesn't have to be? The power of your choice allows you to start to open up the vision, the possibilities for going that other route. There's still infinite possibilities for you and your life and your mission, your vision, and all of that. And so, Cody, just thank you again so much for being here today and inspiring everyone. I love it.
Oh my goodness, it is my pleasure. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and thank you, Kim, for all that you are doing and providing.
Thank you. And again, remember, everybody, you can find out more about Cody by going to scarreleasebook.com or epiclifegameplan.com. And remember that wherever you are today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. You have the power of choice. What then? What choices are you making? Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll see you all again very soon with another Inspirational Message Monday and another awesome guest next week. And I hope that you are really allowing yourself to tune in to that light and love that you are. Those are not just words. That can be a very easy catchphrase, light and love, light and love. And those are powerful energies, light and love. And you are them. You have access to them. Oh my goodness. So have an amazing day, everybody. Stay right there, Cody. I'll see you all again very, very soon.